Hey Jen, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you, Jen?
Good. So what would you like to talk about?
So today I think we'll talk about Katie and her seemingly inability to remember to turn in her assignments.
Okay. And Katie is in 7th grade?
Yes, she's 12. She'll be 13 next month.
And she's having a hard time remembering to turn in her assignments or to complete them.
She actually does pretty well completing them. It's the turning in that's the issue. It's kind of funny because it's like you've done the work.
Right.
Just turn it in, you know?
Right.
And we've tried keeping an assignment notebook.
Okay.
And letting her like decorate it with stickers and really get into the whole like plannering thing.
Mm-hmm.
And she loves that, and so she will happily like write down her assignment and then remember to do it. But it's the
turning it in part.
It's the turning it in part, and some of that is the way the school does homework. They have like a Google Classroom system.
Okay.
And so if she has a sheet, she won't turn it in on Google Classroom. She'll just turn the sheet in.
Oh, okay.
And so, like, then I'll get emails saying she's missing this, and this. And so then we end up having to go through it. And I'm like, well, are you really missing this? Or did you just not turn it in on Google Classrooms?
Okay.
And about half the time, it's that she actually did turn it in and just didn't mark it as done on Google Classrooms. And she sees no need to do that, which is frustrating for me. But about the other half of the time, it's because she's just like, oh, I forgot to turn that in. And I'm just like, really?
That's frustrating because she does all of the work and then doesn't get credit for doing the work.
Exactly.
Because she just didn't turn it in.
Yeah, and her middle school teachers are super understanding. They're like, that's fine, you can turn it in late, but I almost wish they were a little bit tougher on her because when she gets to high school,
that's not going to happen.
They're not going to care.
So you feel like the teachers are too lenient?
I just feel like there should be more consequences for her late work.
Okay.
And I've tried to impose some.
Okay. What do those look like?
So when she has a missing assignment that is truly a missing assignment, she loses her allowance and is banned from screen for a day.
Okay.
So she loses allowance for the whole week, but she's banned from screen for a day.
Okay. And how does she respond to that?
So I get mixed responses. Sometimes she's like, okay, yeah, fine, whatever, and just goes off and reads her book and doesn't
feel like a consequence.
Exactly.
Okay.
And sometimes it's just like she's like, yeah, you should totally ground me for that, or you should totally ban me from screen. I totally forgot. Like I see these flashes of she's getting there, but it's not consistent at all, and it's so frustrating.
Is there a subject that is harder for her to remember to turn in? Like, is there one subject that's harder than others, or is it pretty consistent across the board?
For a while it was consistent across the board. Now I feel like it is her language arts teacher, which is also her social studies teacher, and coincidentally the one who gives her the most paper work to do.
So language arts and social studies?
Yeah, it's all three are the same teacher.
And Spanish?
Spanish is mostly online.
Okay.
Yeah, amazingly enough.
Okay. So if assignments are online, she's totally okay. It's when she has the actual physical paper
to turn in, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That is always, I don't know why, but it is always harder for her.
Okay. Well, a lot of kids have difficulty with organizing the actual materials versus having it on the computer. It's easier to kind of look at it and be like, oh, it's there.
Right.
So, I mean, I can understand why that might be more difficult for her than using the Google Classroom.
Mm-hmm. And she's definitely a techie girl. She definitely likes the technology.
Okay.
I feel that's why, like, these other subjects are easier for her because it's mostly online and she can just click a button and it's done.
And the teacher doesn't seem as concerned about it?
No, not at all.
Is it affecting her grades?
It can, yeah. Okay. And it has, yeah. Because she'll miss deadlines to turn in, like, redos. Okay. And she'll miss deadlines to, like, the end of the trimester is coming up this Friday. And her teacher's like, you have to get all your stuff in, or, because she can't submit the grades past the end of the trimester. So she's got to get all the kids' stuff so that she can submit it. And so I've been hounding Katie, like, do you have any work from this class? Do you have any work from this class? And she's like, nope, I don't. Nope, I don't. Nope, I don't. And I just...
And then she does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you talked to the teacher about your concerns?
No, not yet.
Okay. Do you have any ideas that you've been thinking about trying with her that you haven't tried so far?
No.
Okay.
I'm kind of stuck.
I'm wondering if there's a way to make her paper documents electronic. Like, I don't know if there's a way to upload into her Google Classroom the assignments, or, when she does the paper assignments, and she has to go into Google Classroom and check off that she did them.
Mm-hmm.
So she's just not going in and checking off that she did them.
Right, and sometimes she's still not turning in that actual paper sheet.
And she needs to do both.
She needs, well, technically she doesn't have to, she tells me, turn it in on Google Classrooms, because as
Okay.
long as her teacher has the physical paper, that's fine.
Okay.
But for me,
But for you, it looks like she never turned it in.
exactly, and then I'm stuck trusting, did she turn it in or did she not?
Okay.
And that's frustrating.
Has she ever done anything like a check-in, check-out?
Yeah, she
Um,
started the year doing that, but they very quickly graduated her from it because they thought she didn't need it.
Okay, but she's clearly needing it with this teacher.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who did you talk to about the check-in, check-out at the beginning of the year?
I didn't talk to anyone about it. They just decided that she needed it based on her performance last year. And they
Okay.
just, and they had actually started it with her last year too. And she's in it for about a month. She checks in, she checks out, and then they're like, okay, you're good. And then they move on.
And then, okay,
And then she's good for like a month,
right.
and then she backslides.
Okay.
So,
Do you feel comfortable reaching out to the teacher and asking if she can start doing a check-in, check-out? Or do you think that that's not really effective because long-term results are showing that she kind of goes back to that habit?
yeah, see, what I would more like to see come out of this is, even if the progress is slow, like I want to see her making strides towards independent
Mhm.
recall. Like just that whole, I need to turn this in. Even if that's like, I don't know what that would look like though. Like I don't know how to get from where we are to where I want her to be.
Okay.
And I don't feel like where I want her to be is age inappropriate.
I would agree.
You
Because
know,
she's 12. She should be able to.
consistently remember to turn in her assignments.
Right. Because she does for her other classes.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what is it about having the physical paper? Because it's just, she has this problem whenever it is the paper,
Okay.
like, and it's mostly in the LA class because that's most
Where all the papers happen.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but even if she'll have a math paper, she'll struggle to remember to turn it in. She loves math. She loves her math teacher.
Okay.
So,
Well, I'm wondering if we talk to the teachers to see if there's some way to turn it in electronically, like but make her responsible for that. Like if
right.
you make her upload it into the Google Classroom so that it's there and you can see that it's done, and that
Mhm.
way, I know she's into tech stuff, so she can do that. If
Right.
that would be helpful, so then she's not carrying around papers. Is that something you'd be
Yeah,
interested
that's-
in talking to the teacher about?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
that's something
electronic
I'm
submission.
definitely willing to reach out to her teacher about. The only snag I foresee with that is her LA teacher is not anti-tech, but not as
Not super tech?
comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so I'm a
Um,
little worried about that, but worth a shot.
Okay. Have you ever tried any kind of alarms for her, like a
Oh,
did
like
she-
on her phone or
yeah.
something? No, I mean
that-
other than
would
like
she pay attention to that? Like
I
if-
don't know. She's not tied to her phone the way a lot of teens are.
Mhm.
She likes it, but it's not constantly in her hands.
Does she, in classrooms, does she have her phone with her?
No.
Okay.
She does have her
Just have a-
Chromebook with her.
She could set an alarm on her Chromebook.
Okay.
So I'll write that down as a possibility.
Right,
Setting
like
alarms.
maybe like setting alarm,
Reminder.
like even if it just pings her to like, hey, do you have something to turn in?
Right. What time of day is her class?
So her LA class is first period, and then she goes to Spanish for second period, and then it's third and fourth period. So I think it's LA social studies.
Okay.
So,
Um,
and those three are all with the same class.
okay. So as far as consequences at home, because it sounds like school's not really going to give her any consequences
Not really.
besides her grade being affected.
Yeah.
But then they let her turn it in late, and then her grade goes back up. So
I know.
that's kind of frustrating.
Right?
What motivates her at home?
Screen time.
Okay.
Starbucks.
Okay, so what about instead of, because the taking away screen time is kind of hit or miss for her, because she'll just go read.
Yeah.
What if you were to try more of a reward system? So like if you turn in all of your assignments this week on time on your own without me checking in with you, I'll get you Starbucks.
Okay. Yeah, that's. I tend towards the more punishment end of the scale, and I think like having a reward would probably be better
might be-
for her. Yeah,
It might
more
motivate her a little
effective.
bit, right?
Yeah.
Because I know she loves Starbucks, and
I
that
know,
might be something that she would look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have 3 possible strategies to try out. We have
Yep.
look into electronic submission,
Mm-hmm.
but setting reminders, and then the Starbucks for motivation.
Yeah,
Out
I
of
think-
those 3, which ones do you think are going to be the most effective to try?
Honestly, I'm not sure about the electronic submission. I really
Okay.
think that it's going to be alarm setting or the Starbucks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely want to go with what you think is going to work best for her.
I kind of want to try both.
I think that's okay.
Yeah,
I think she
like
can
I
handle that.
kind of like. I think the 2-pronged approach
Mhm.
would be really effective with her, because that way she's got like, she can set an alarm on her Chromebook, and that'll be cool. She can figure out how to do that and like pick her alarm tone and stuff. But then like the Starbucks with mom
Yeah.
at the end of the week, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah. I think that's a good plan.
Yeah.
So do you feel comfortable working with her on your own with setting up the reminders on her Chromebook
Mhm.
and figuring out what time that should happen and things like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I definitely feel like
Um,
that's something we can get.
Because she has that in every class, right?
Yes, she has
So
it
it'll
in every
pop up when
class.
she's okay.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think setting those reminders on time for a time where that she's sitting at her desk and her laptop or her Chromebook will be open,
Yeah.
so that she sees it. I think that'll be
Mhm.
good. And maybe it's 2 minutes after those classes start.
Right, or even if it just pings her in homeroom, hey, do you
Yeah,
have anything to
right,
turn in?
right.
Because they always have their Chromebooks in homeroom, and they're not allowed to have their phones.
Okay,
So,
I think that's good. And then you could start. Today's Monday, so you could go home this evening and talk to her about the
Yeah.
reward system and start that this week.
yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you feel like we have a pretty good plan? You want to try this out for a week, and then we can meet up next week and see how it went and make some changes if we need to?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
All right, cool. Sounds good. Thanks for coming in today.
yeah, thanks.